Hello and welcome again to my channel. I am Bola Debowale, your baby's doctor, and today we'll be talking about urinary tract infections. But before I go into the video, there is this common notion that goes around town about urinary tract infection being spread from toilet bowls. Is this a truth or it's a myth? We'll find out in the course of the video. If you're just joining for the very first time, thank you so much for joining me. It's a pleasure to have you here. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please take 30 seconds to do that. Just look below this video, you see the subscribe button, just click it and you're done. Also click the notification bell so that you can get notified each time I post a new video so you don't get to miss out on anything. And if at the end of this video it is helpful, you find it helpful, please give me a thumbs up so that YouTube can make this video available for everyone everywhere to see. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll get to it shortly. Alright, before we go into the core of today's video, which is prevention of urinary tract infection, I would like to talk briefly about your urinary tract so that you can understand how it works. The main function of urinary tract is to remove waste products from your body. Okay, and your urinary tract starts from your kidneys to your ureters, which are the tubes that connect your kidneys to your bladder, and then from your bladder outside through the urethra. So this is what the urinary tract is, and urine will flow from the kidneys all the way down to your urethra, and then you can excrete the urine where you have it. So any infection that occurs on this pathway are called urinary tract infections. And like you know, I always say infections are usually due to bacterial causes, viral causes, fungal causes, and of course parasitic, protozoa, and all those. But the very common causes of urinary tract infection are usually bacterial causes. Urinary tract infection is usually common in children, although in the older children it's commoner in female children because of the length of their urethra. Remember I said urethra is the one that connects the bladder to the outside world. So it's actually shorter in girls and makes it easy for infections to ascend into the urinary tract. So I'm going to talk about the causes of urinary tract infections. I'm not talking about the pathogen or whatever organism is causing it now. I'm talking about things that can actually predispose a child to urinary tract infection. So hygiene issues around the perineum, the vaginal, the anal region can actually predispose a child to urinary tract infection. For example, in a girl that uses the toilet, goes to poo, and then you don't wipe well, organisms can migrate from that area into the urethra and cause infections. Also, it can be from blood infections. So, you know, children, when they have blood infections, what we call sepsis, it can actually spread to different parts of the body, including the urinary tract infection. Okay, the next cause would be from holding urine. Yes, a lot of people hold urine because, well, from the notion I said that you can get urinary tract infection, so you're likely to hold your urine till you get a comfortable place to release. But the truth is, when you hold your urine serves as a very good culture medium. So it serves as a good breeding ground for bacteria, and then they can grow in the urine and cause infection. And then some people also have some problems with the anatomy of their urinary tract, which can predispose them to infections. So how do you recognize infections in children? First, like any other infection, your child might come down with fever, anorexia, that is, the child does not want to eat, refuses food, may have chills, rigor if they are in that age range, and things that will tell you that this child is actually sick. Okay, they can vomit and all that. But there are some specific things that will actually point your mind directly to urinary tract infection. One, your child may cry, especially if it's a child that cannot talk, may cry excessively when peeing. So this will suggest that the child is having some form of pain, burning, or stinging when peeing. Okay, so you can have that in your child. It can also be frequent urination. So a child urinates now, and the next 2 minutes, like, Mom, I want to pee, and then goes back, and then comes back and says, I want to pee again. Then you have to start suspecting that there's something going on in their urinary tract. Another thing is sometimes, excuse me, you can have pain. So pain in the lower abdomen, pain on the loins at the back here. You can have those to suggest that the child has urinary tract infection. So those are some of the things that you have to look out for in your children. Yeah, one other very important thing to look out for is bedwetting in a child that has stopped bedwetting. So you have a child that was bedwetting before, has stopped for some months or for some years, and suddenly bedwets, then you should know that this might actually be a sign of urinary tract infection. So I haven't talked about how to recognize it. Of course, treatment, you have to go to the hospital. There is no managing of urinary tract infection in the house. So please get to the hospital where your child will be tested, the urine will be tested, the blood also will be tested. Sometimes they will take culture to actually see the kind of organism that is causing the urinary tract infection and must be treated appropriately with the appropriate antibiotics. So please, urinary tract infection cannot be treated at home, because if you don't treat it right, if you don't get to the hospital, if you don't get the right medications or the right treatment, it can actually damage your baby's urinary tract infection. So please, once you suspect your child has urinary tract infection, go to the hospital and let them get treated. So now to the topic of today. Well, to the main part of today's topic, prevention of urinary tract infection. Number one, hydration. Yes, water, very important. I'm going to use the word that everybody uses. It's like flushes your system. So it allows your body to remove more waste products, more water passes to the urinary tract, and of course it can easily wash up some of those breathing infections. So if you can actually prevent urinary tract infection by proper hydration. Number two, you have to encourage your children not to hold urine. Okay, so if it's a smaller child, you should probably have potty times for urine. Okay, so you start timing it. Okay, every hour I put you on the potty to pee, or every 2 hours, so that the child would, not have any reason to hold urine. And then also talk to your children that go to school, especially schools where they don't have good toilets and your child would not use the toilet. You have to find a way around it. So encourage your child to pee on a regular basis, because if they hold urine, like I said, it will just be a breeding ground for bacterial infection. For females, number three, don't wipe after using the toilet. Don't wipe from back to front. I know people have said this, you have heard this a lot of times, but people still do it. I don't know, for convenience or whatnot. You should wipe from front to the back, because when you wipe from the back to the front, you can introduce organisms that are around the anus. Of course, the anus is dirty. So you can introduce organisms from around the anus back to the urethra, okay? And this is something you really don't want to. You want to avoid this as much as possible. Preferably wash up with water. But in case you don't get to wash up with water, please don't wipe from the back to the front. Very important, avoid bubble baths. I know bubble baths are actually very nice. Like, they look very beautiful. They are fun. You enjoy that. But when you do that, you actually expose the genitals of your child to irritation. Apart from even urinary tract infection, they can also cause vaginal issues, vaginitis and all that in your female children. So please avoid bubble baths. Normal shower, bathe, and you're good. So avoid bubble baths as much as possible because of the chemicals that are available in those bubble baths. For your female children and even your male children, if you're buying them underpants, please try as much as possible to stick to cotton underpants because of the absorbability. Okay, so this also helps to prevent urinary tract infection. And of course, well, avoid constipation, because when your child is holding back poop, definitely your child is also holding back urine. So try, like I said before, try to have a potty time where you say, okay, at least your child must poop once a day. Put the child on that potty. I don't know how you're going to do it, but you have to make that child poop, because when they don't poop, they also have the tendency of holding back urine. So those are some of the ways by which you can prevent urinary tract infection in children. Now to the question, does urinary tract infection spread from toilet bowls and toilet seats? Is it a myth or it's a fact? Let me know. What do you think? Is it a myth or it's a fact? Well, it is kind of a myth with some factish aspects. Okay, so there is a possibility, albeit slight possibility, that your child can get urinary tract infection from toilet bowls. How do I mean? So the child goes to the toilet, poos or whatnot, and then splashes on the skin, and then the child wipes and then introduces it to the urethra. If you go through that, complex pathway, there's actually a possibility that your child can get urinary tract infection from the toilet bowl. However, if you look at the female or the male body, the urethra is not outside. The urethra is inside. It's enclosed. So there is no direct access. So when something splashes, it's not likely to touch the urethra, except you actually find a way to introduce it back into the urethra. So the chances are quite low for you to get urinary tract infection from toilet sex. I didn't say that it is not a possibility. So it is a mythish fact. Mythish fact. So that is what it is. And it's the same thing with sexually transmitted disease. This one is even weird. You are highly 0.00001% to get STDs from toilet seats. So all those people that will come to you and say, I have STD because I sat down in the toilet bowl. I don't know about that one, okay? That's it today on this episode. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this video has been very helpful. I hope by the time you see some of these symptoms in your child, you'll be able to recognize them and give them the appropriate care needed. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Ayebola Adebowale, your baby's doctor. Please remember to subscribe, like, and share so that this information can get to people and we can together improve the health and well-being of our children worldwide. Thank you so much for joining me. I remain Ayebola Adebowale, your baby's doctor. See you next time.